All right, people. So I want to talk about this whole situation of Trump dealing with this Khan person, um, which is an ironic name because the media, the Democratic Party, is really doing a con job on the American people and Donald Trump. I mean, they are so deceptive in their tactics to try to get people to not support Trump, and I mean it is working. Either the poll numbers are, either way it's working because the poll numbers are, they're either fixed or they're actually going down. I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, there's probably some, fucking with the polls by the pollsters, at least some of them, but I think also genuinely these attacks on Trump, like especially this Khan thing, is helping him to lose. Not that probably doesn't sound like it makes sense, but let me reword it. It is causing him to probably lose some support in the polls. So, and just some support in general. So let's see what happened here. So this Khan guy who loses his son, he's a Muslim in Iraq. So there you go. There's your typical Democrats. They're trying to show you that Muslims are just these great people. They're trying to, portray Muslims as these great people when they're a lot of them aren't. If you actually look at opinion polls on Muslims, you'll find that a lot of them support horrible things like throwing gays off buildings, killing gays, treating women like shit, and many other horrible things. So, no, Muslims aren't these, and people are like, oh, well, ISIS, they're just a very small percentage of, bad Muslims. No, it's more than ISIS. It's much more than ISIS. There are many Muslims who support things like Sharia law and all these horrible things. So it's more than just a few bad apples, alright? So what happens here, So he speaks at the convention, and then he does some interviews after. And then, the first thing really is Trump is like, well, I've made sacrifices too. That's what he says. He says, I've made, because this Khan guy was bashing him and shit like that. So then Trump comes out and he says, I've made sacrifices too, which, how could you fucking disagree with that? Okay, let's look at politics here. There's been 44 presidents. 4 have been assassinated. That's like the most dangerous job in the world right there. So 1 in 11 presidents have been assassinated. And if you look at other people, Reagan, he was, almost died there. So I believe it's 4 have been assassinated. Point is, it's a very dangerous job, and even RFK was assassinated and shit like that. And you could argue, okay, was it a conspiracy? Or I'm not arguing that. The point is, they died. So Trump is getting death threats. I made a video going on Twitter where people were supporting the assassination of Trump, and even a couple people were saying they would do it themselves. And I actually reported those people for promoting violence. And we'll see if Twitter actually responds and at least suspends or deletes the tweet, or at least takes some action. I'm going to make a video on that in the future and see if Twitter actually took proper means there. But so you have people, and there was actually one person who was arrested at a Trump rally with a gun who looked like he wanted to kill Trump. So he's taking his life in his hands. Trump is. He's putting his life on the line. Trump is doing something that's way more dangerous than your average person in the military. I'm sorry, but Trump has a much more better chance of dying than somebody in the U.S. military right now. I'm sorry, that's a fact of the matter. That's a basic fact. And also, Trump could be living the life. He could be golfing. He could be, just sitting back and relaxing with his billions of dollars. But he's deciding to tour the country, go all over the fucking place, spend less time with his family. His life's, definitely winding down, but, he's just putting all his energy into this. So he's obviously is making sacrifices. And then he said, well, maybe, because the woman didn't speak at the DNC, so he's like, well, maybe she didn't speak because of the Sharia law, and the man didn't let her speak. And then everybody, oh my God, Trump said that. Oh my God. He's so misogynistic or whatever the fuck word it is that the liberals make up. First off, this Khan guy is a proponent of Sharia law. He reviewed a guy's book who was a proponent of Sharia law, was a proponent of beating, men being able to beat their wives. And he reviewed this guy's book and he praised it, saying how great it is. He's a proponent of Sharia law. But I look on the media. I mean, if you just look at his past writings from like the 1980s, and this guy was promoting Sharia law, but the media won't report on that. I mean, this media is just so fucking ridiculous. But people don't care. They're too worried about finding fictitious characters on Pokemon Go. They don't care that, the media's lying or Hillary Clinton's lying. They're more worried about finding some fucking Pikachu on Pokemon Go. So I mean, the only people or the media outlets I see reporting on this are like Infowars, Breitbart. I think Town Hall might have had something. Just your real conservatives, websites are reporting on this. Nobody else. I mean, I didn't find an ABC News or an NBC News or a Clinton News Network news. So the Clinton News Network article, CNN, of course. There I'm referencing. So it's all just a giant fucking scam. The media, mainstream media, obviously doesn't want Trump to be president. They are so biased in their attacks against Trump. I mean, they'll attack Trump for making a joke at a rally about a crying baby, but then they won't even care about the email hacks. You won't hear anything about that, or Hillary Clinton deleting her emails, or taking foreign bribes, or just all this fucking shit on Clinton in the past. It's just so depressing because, I mean, it's just so obvious how corrupt Clinton is and how minute Trump's so-called scandals are compared to Clinton's. But yet they blow Trump's scandals out of proportion, and they don't blow it. They fucking negate Clinton's scandals like they're nothing. So it's ridiculous. This Khan story is bullshit. And why is Khan supporting Clinton when Trump was against the Iraq War? Clinton was for it. So why is this Khan guy supporting Clinton if the reason his son died is because of Clinton? Well, one of the reasons is the reason is the Iraq War, which was a phony fucking war. And who supported it? Clinton. And then Khan's like, well, if Trump's president, my son wouldn't even get into this country. No, dumbass. Trump said it's a temporary ban until we can vet the people. No, we don't want to let we don't want to let Muslims or anybody for that matter into this country if we don't know who they are, if we can't get an idea of their background, criminal record, etc. We don't want to let people into our country who are bad people. If we're going to let people into our country, then they should be benefiting us. We should only let the best in, what we need, what's going to benefit our country. Like Trump said, America first. We can't worry about everybody else's problems. We can't take in everybody else's problems right now. Or really ever. I mean, we shouldn't just let when it comes to open borders, we shouldn't just open our fucking borders. And also, we should work to restore the nations that we're fucking up. Why is there a Syrian refugee crisis? Oh, because of Hillary Clinton. Because of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama's policies of funding ISIS in the Middle East and funding the so-called moderate rebels to destabilize Syria. Oh, and the whole Libya thing again, the overthrow of Libya, which helped ISIS, and, taking out Saddam and all that shit created this whole crisis there, and just a destabilization of the Middle East. So, it all goes back to, people like Obama and Clinton. And if we didn't do that, we probably wouldn't have the Syrian refugee crisis, or in the first place. But thanks to your corrupt politicians, that's what we have. And it's not just the Democrats; it's many of the establishment Republicans who supported funding the so-called moderate rebels. So that's how we had this whole problem in the first place. So there you go, people. Again, the media is just so corrupt, so lying, and it's so deceptive. And I really think that like Trump is falling in the polls. I mean, this media might lose him the election. I mean, I still think he has a good chance to win because we still have so much more time to go. We still have the debates, and there's still more shit that looks like it's going to come out on Hillary via WikiLeaks. So I think there's still a very good chance of Trump winning. I'm not disappointed. I'm not panicking that the poll numbers are in favor of Hillary because, like I said, still a long time to go. But I mean, if people keep buying into this bullshit from the media, keep buying, they don't have any. That's the problem. They don't have any attention spans. Like I would go and research. I listen to political shit. I pay attention to it, and I just don't, read the fucking headlines for like 2 seconds. I read into the stories. I read shit. I mean, I'm not asking people to like read fucking like 10 books or anything like that, but I mean, dedicate at least a little bit of time to politics. Actually, don't just pay attention to what fucking Rachel Maddow's saying or some fucking hack on Fox News or CNN or whatever the fuck. Do your own research, people. Don't let Bill O'Reilly or Jake Tapper, shape your political outlook. Do a lot of research for yourself. Just don't read off the headlines and shit like that. You actually, do more. Do more than just read headlines. Read, research, do shit. And if you do shit, you'll find out what the fuck's going on. But like I said, people are too busy playing Pokemon Go, and they're just scrolling through Facebook and they see, oh, Trump's a racist, and or a meme like that, Trump hates Khan, whatever the fuck, and they buy into that bullshit because they're not willing to do research for themselves. Because they're too, like I said, they're too lazy. They're too fucking lazy, people. So, and they're too obsessed with shit like the Kardashians and Pokemon Go and shit. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts on this whole, I see people calling it a con job, referencing the guy's name as Khan, and that's pretty much what it is. It's another con job by the Democratic Party, the Democratic establishment, and your mainstream corrupt media. So there you go, people.